Wow, so that just happened. Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup where you pick our winners and losers from the weekend just past. Joining me in a special bumper edition of Euro Roundup, you've got 3 winners, you've got 3 losers, you've got a Twitter beef. He's one half of Football Mundial. Zachary, DJ, Elab, how was your weekend?
Only my mum calls you Zachary, so that was a bit weird. But it was good.
Both figures of authority in your
life. True, very true. I saw my mum, saw my family, it was good. How's yours?
Yeah, pretty much the same. You just have to get Easter out of the way, don't you? I think I've put on about £6 as well. First and foremost, it's the Twitter beef, and it's Benny Boy, and he's asked, do Spurs even deserve to be a winner this week? They're celebrating the fact they've beaten Chelsea like they've won a trophy. It's embarrassing. Now, does he have a leg to stand on? What are your thoughts on this? And then we'll dive into the game.
Oh my God, it's not embarrassing, and they do deserve to be a winner. It's the first time Spurs have beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in 28 years. That alone is worth celebrating. They've also just won the derby, worth celebrating. They've also just beaten a top 4 rival, again, worth celebrating. There's nothing wrong there. The guy that said this is probably the same guy that moans at Dele Alli doing a handshake.
Love a shake, handshake, milkshake, every kind of shake.
Good God. Anyway, as we said, Chelsea lost their first home game in almost a year, with the Lily Whites running out 3-1 victors. Dele Alli also scored his first Premier League brace in over a year to add to the great performance he had. He actually had a very good day at the office. His touch from Dyer's ball over the top was unbelievable. He's now been involved in 16 more goals than Cristiano Ronaldo after 100 Premier League starts. And they can't even fit him into the England team. Take him to England. Anyone that's saying don't is a idiot. He had the exact same output as Eden Hazard, who some Chelsea fans were moaning at, saying he can only do it against West Brom and can't do it against the big teams. He actually made 6 key passes and completed 5 dribbles. To be fair to Chelsea and Tottenham, we dominated, I thought, in the first half, and Spurs dominated in the second half. Essentially, it was a game of 2 halves. We didn't take our chances. Yeah,
Tottenham have flattered to deceive for years, haven't they? They've underwhelmed, 5th, 6th place finishes, and now they've secured their Champions League status. They're a powerhouse in London.
Agreed.
I think the fans deserve to rub salt in the proverbial wound.
100%.
Especially when it comes to Chelsea as well. Awful club.
Did you see the picture though of the fans in the background? Everyone's just got a different pose, but they're all just basically giving it off to Dele Alli. It's brilliant.
Swearing. I think flipping off the V has become unfashionable.
I know.
I think we should bring that back. But anyway, Morata scored a header, didn't he? Somewhat gifted to him by Hugo Lloris, but it was cancelled out by Christian Eriksen's absolute dipper. His 16th goal, from outside the box, the most of any current player in the Premier League. It was always between him and Coutinho, wasn't it? And that was his 12th of the season, so equaling the Danes' biggest ever return for the club. And he's probably now a strong candidate for their best signing of the Premier League era. £11 million from Ajax. I think maybe Gareth Bale for £7 million, potentially, his rival, but for that mantle. But I'd actually put Eriksen out in front. Coincidentally, that was Morata's 7th header of the season. Also a high in the competition. I think he's got 11 in the league. 7 of them have been with his Bonds.
He had a good game.
Gifted, though, as I said, by Hugo Lloris. And is the Frenchman... Now, he's been an outstanding shot stopper for the last 3 seasons, but this season his form has been a little bit patchy. Is he dining out on that brilliant defence? Because only Petr Cech and Asmir Begovic have made more errors than him this season. When he came to try and claim that cross, that was his 5th individual error. And now the Champions League football is wrapped up, I think Pochettino will be hoping he puts in slightly more assured performances over the next 7 games, because they don't want him to go off the boil. He's been very important for them in their ascendancy. But guys, can Tottenham catch who in 3rd? Liverpool. Let us know in the comments below.
We move on to our first winner and we go over to Germany for it. It's Bayern Munich at the suggestion of @Aniket6700. Chris, why are Bayern there?
Yeah, they absolutely blitzkrieg Borussia Dortmund. 6-0 in Der Klassiker to move 21 points ahead of Sturger's team. It's the Bavarians' 3rd successive victory over the Borussen this season, and it also means they're unbeaten against Borussia in the league at the Allianz since 2014, winning all 4 fixtures. Dominating as Bayern do. Also, the first time Borussia have conceded 5 first-half goals in a league game since 1978 when they lost 12-0 to Mönchengladbach. So a bit of history there for you. James Rodriguez in devastating form this season, especially after Jupp Heynckes' arrival. In this match, it was more of the same. 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 shots, a 92% pass accuracy for someone in that area of the pitch is pretty formidable, and 3 key passes, which means he laid on 3 chances for his teammates. He's also now been involved post-game in 14 goals in 18 Bundesliga appearances, so a slow start, but the Colombian is in fine fettle now. Franck Ribéry, also rolling back the years. He was involved in 2 goals in the night. One was a lovely, sort of like slipped it through and kind of like dinked it over the keeper with his right foot. And the first was just sort of, he just bundled into it. He just cannoned off him, but they all count. He completed 52 of his 53 passes on the day, which gave him a pass accuracy of 98%. So Bayern back to their clinical, ruthless best in this game. We said it on Continental Club beforehand. They've been struggling to score recently, which is not something that you really associate with Bayern Munich, but we all predicted Bayern Munich win, I think, apart from McCubbin sat behind the camera. Oh, he predicted a thrashing, so he put me in my place. But what about Dortmund?
It's not about Dortmund. I'm actually going to talk about a certain Polish man, the striker, Mr. Lewandowski. He got a hat-trick, which is unbelievable, and it was his first hat-trick in this fixture since the 2012 DFB Pokal final, when his 3 goals helped Borussia Dortmund beat Bayern in a 5-2 victory. That now means he has 17 goals in 29 Classicas, with 12 of them coming in a Bayern Munich shirt. He now needs 5 goals from the remaining 6 fixtures to beat his record league tally of 30, which he achieved in 15-16 and 16-17. But do you guys at home think he can do it? And what do you think of Bayern Munich's Champions League prospects? Let us know in the comments below.
Our first losers are Sevilla, suggested by Lauren Doherty. Zach, what happened?
They threw away a 2-goal lead in the final 3 minutes of the game to draw 2-2 with Barcelona. The result, though, now means they drop below rivals Real Betis into 7th place and miss the chance to end Barca's unbeaten run. The Blaugrana have now got their streak up to 37 games unbeaten in the league and are just 1 away from Real Sociedad's record of 38. Sevilla, meanwhile, are now 16 points off the Champions League places. The La Liga season is pretty much over with 8 games left. But Chris, tell me a bit more about the match in general.
But despite only having 38% possession, the Andalusians actually had 21 shots, which is a lot, as Barca, on average, only concede 11 per game. Barca had 20 themselves, so pretty entertaining game, although the home side only registered 6 to the visitors' 9. Ever Banega, as he has been on several occasions this season, the standout performer for Sevilla. 87 touches, 90% pass act, 1 shot, completing 4 dribbles that gave him a 100% completion rate. They are pretty impressive numbers. But Messi, the game changer, despite only coming on in the 60th minute, always steals the show, does the wee man, having 4 shots in 30 minutes. Madness. 39 touches, 4 dribbles, and the all-important equaliser came from his lovely left foot. Was it his left foot? I'm going to go with it. Big month ahead for both clubs. Champions League quarter-finals, 1 apiece. They play each other in the Copa del Rey final as well on the 21st. But can Barca remain unbeaten all season, as Zach highlighted? I think they still have to host Valencia, who also won and feature in this script, and Real Madrid. So some tough opposition in the league. Let us know what you think in the poll above.
We jump on a plane from Spain to Italy for our next winner, and this one comes from Oliver Burton on Twitter. Thank you. And he has said, Juventus. Why is that, Chris?
Because they beat AC Milan 3-1, as I predicted on Continental Club. Guilty. Total guess. To open up a 4-point lead at the top of Serie A. Now, statistically speaking, this was a fairly balanced game. Juve edged possession with around 52%, taking 7 shots to Milan's 10, putting 4 on target to Milan's 5. Now, given this, a lot of credit has to go to the old battle-born goalkeeper, Gianluigi Buffon. The Italian made 4 crucial saves on the day, in comparison to Donnarumma's 1, who is 21 years his junior. The first goal came after just 8 minutes from Paulo Dybala. What a fine season he's having. He's now scored the most goals, which which is 7 from outside the box in Serie A this season. The Argentine only had 1 shot, but he made it count, making 4 key passes and actually completing 7 dribbles as well. So pretty much took up that number 10 role yesterday rather than being a little bit more advanced.
Yes. But it was Leonardo Bonucci who scored against his old club to level it. But before his goal, Juve hadn't conceded for 959 minutes in the league, which is equivalent to about 10.5 games, the second longest streak in Serie A history. It was substitute Cuadrado, though, who put the old lady ahead before Sami Khedira added a third. The German also bagged an assist as well. Khedira has now scored 7 goals in Serie A this season, his joint record in a single campaign in his entire career. You've got to remember, he's 30 now as well, he's getting on. Juventus have now beaten AC Milan in 7 Serie A games in their new stadium. I say new, they moved into it in 2011. It's also known in Italy as just the stadium. There's not really a name for it apart from I think people call it Juventus Stadium. Anyway, another massive shout out has to go to Douglas Costa. He came on in the second half for 44 minutes and completed the most dribbles on the pitch. He attempted 8 and completed 8. That's quite frankly ridiculous. Juve, though, now face Real Madrid today in a massive Champions League quarter-final clash before taking on Benevento on Saturday, whilst Milan take on Inter Milan on Wednesday. Who do you think is going to win? AC Milan or Inter Milan?
Inter.
What do you guys think, though? Comments below. Let us know.
Our second losers are Napoli, and this comes from unnamed Achia. Take it away, Zach.
Well, Napoli go 4 points behind Juventus at the top of Serie A following a loss to Roma at home. The game ended 2-4 to the visitors, despite dominance from Sarri's side. The Little Donkeys held 67% possession and had 26 shots on goal, with 13 on target, compared to Roma's low 5 on target. Meaning, though, Roma had a conversion rate of 40%, whilst Napoli had 7%. Despite a poor performance, Insigne produced a decent one. He had 13 shots, putting 10 on target and made 4 key passes. He did score the opener for Napoli, and Dries Mertens added a stoppage time consolation goal, but this wasn't enough to put them top of the league.
I think that might be the second time in 3rd or 4 games that Insigne's had 10 shots in a game.
It's ridiculous now.
That is mental. It's like a hamster, isn't it? But anyway, shock win at the San Paolo means that Roma take advantage of the 3 points and actually go into 3rd place. Di Francesco reverted back to a 4-3-3 for this game to cope, I'm guessing, with Napoli's extensive attacking threat, although still relinquished 26 shots, with Edin Dzeko flanked by Perotti and Cenk Under, who actually revealed he could have been at Manchester City earlier this week, but chose Roma.
Imagine that.
And it's justified because he's playing very, very well at the moment, isn't he? And it worked. The front 3 all managed to score. Dzeko got 2, and he's aging like a fine wine. He put 75% of his shots on target on the night. And Florenzi, Roma's captain, not only set up a goal, but he cleared one off the line as well. And these sort of stats have been indicative of the season that these two teams are having, aren't they? Roma, ultra clinical, and Napoli,
Attack,
balls to the walls, but kind of misfiring on occasion. It's a good job that Roma won this game, actually, because Lazio beat Benevento 6-2 and Inter Milan beat Hellas Verona 3-0, I think. So it's really heating up for 3rd and 4th position, those final Champions League berths. Who do you think will get them, Serie A fans? Let us know in the comments below. Ooh, la, la.
We move on to our final winner, and this one comes from @Nico Fernandez on Twitter. Thank you very much for sending that in. And you have suggested Valencia. Why is that, Christopher?
V for Valencia for victory, because they beat Leganes 1-0, which means Marcelino's men have now gone 8 games unbeaten, winning 7 of those.
Not bad.
We've spoke about their renaissance on more than one occasion this season, but because of this and the fact they're only 1 point behind Real Madrid, with both teams having played 30 games, thought they were deserved sort of entries on our list. They've also conceded fewer goals than Real Madrid at this point in the season. Real Madrid haven't exactly been watertight so far, but they have scored far fewer. Leganes only allowed Valencia to have 3 shots over the 90, which is pretty impressive given that it lost Chev, averaged around 12 per game this season, with Rodrigo's second half goal. It was a left-footed, low finish, to the left of goal, the only one finding the target. It was actually Rodrigo's 17th goal in all competitions this season.
God.
Over 35 appearances. He's currently contributing to a goal every 102 minutes. That's including his 4 assists. His best league haul until this point was 5. And he was actually playing for Bolton back in 2010-11, where I believe he made 4 starts and scored 1 goal. So it seems like everyone at the Mestalla this season is having a comeback of sorts, doesn't it?
Yes, and Leganés have also exceeded everyone's expectations as well. They're currently 14th and safe and finished last season 17th. So this is only their 2nd season in the Liga as well.
Pretty solid stuff.
The Madrid-based side, though, have built a very solid defence, deploying a 5-4-1, and left-back Dani Rico was the star of the show yesterday. The Spaniard made 6 tackles, won 3 aerial duels, completed 1 dribble and made 1 key pass. He also completed the most touches for his team. Leganés have actually been limiting the opposition to around 11 shots per game on average this season, which is actually very similar to Barcelona. However, the other problem is they're not clinical enough. In this game, they managed 8 shots, but only put 1 on target. So Leganés, I've done it, mate. Hire me up, I'm your manager. Find a clinical striker and you'll be good next season.
Simple as that.
That's it.
Our last loser then is the Silverhead Fox. Alan, pard off you. And this suggestion comes from Oliver Kodak. What's happened? Because it's time at West Brom.
It's not been good. It's not been good to say the least. He's been sacked after a 2-1 home defeat to Burnley, which has left them 10 points from safety with 6 games remaining.
Oh, Al.
They have now lost 8 consecutive Premier League games, the longest run since 1985. He becomes the 10th Premier League manager to be sacked this year, a joint record with the 2013-14 season. The Baggies, though, won just once in 18 games under him, taking 8 points for a possible 54. That gave them a win percentage of 5.6%. That's the worst of any West Brom manager in the Premier League. The club, though, have now had 6 managers since 2011, not a good record, and he has now won just 2 of his last 29 games. That's him being at Palace and at West Brom, drawing 7 and losing a massive 20. They have now scored more than just 1 goal on 5 occasions and failed to score in 39% of their Premier League games. It's not good. I feel depressed just saying these stats.
I mean, they got rid of a very defensively sound coach. I know that his record, Pulis, was not great when he left, and the West Brom fans were pretty sick of the turgid football they were turning out. But they brought in an attack-minded coach when their top goal scorer last season, I think, was Salomon Rondon with 8 goals.
It's not good.
I just think this was a little bit predictable, and it was a bit of a poison chalice from the get-go, and he's probably now going to struggle to get a job back in top-tier football. But let's take a look at some of the stats to see if it was Pardew's time at the helm that was the catalyst for this sort of horrible downturn in form. Where did it go wrong, basically? They've conceded 51 goals this season. That's the 15th worst in the division, but have only scored 25 in 31. That's the joint worst. I don't know if that's post-weekend or pre-weekend, with Swansea and Huddersfield. They won their first 2 games of the season, but have played 29 games since, winning 1, drawing 11 and losing 18. It's a wonder they've not been relegated already, given that form. And it hasn't been easy on multiple fronts. The club sacked chairman John Williams and chief executive Martin Goodman 6 weeks ago because of poor results, but this hasn't stopped the flow. Then in mid-February, 4 of his players, that's Boaz Myhill, Johnny Evans, Jake Livermore and Gareth Barry, were accused of stealing a taxi during a training camp in Barcelona. Not exactly what your fans want to see when you're on the precipice of going down. This, of course, prompted Chris Sutton, who absolutely laps this sort of shit up, to claim that senior players got him the sack on 5 Live. And I quote verbatim, "He's gone in there with a bunch of pirates and they look like they've plotted to get him to walk the plank." So guys, do you think it's Pards or the players? In reality, it's probably a mixture of both. But Ian Wright, mirroring what I've just said, reckons that the 2012 Manager of the Year may even struggle to get a job in the Championship now. Is that too harsh? Fans of Pardew, let us know in the comments below.
Come Crawley Town, mate. Bring us up. Will we be in the Premier League 5 years? Then that's real football, bro.
So guys, that was this week's ERU. Thank you for watching. Thank you for contributing. As ever, get me your suggestions on Twitter every weekend. Zach, what else is happening on Eurofootball Daily?
Well, Saturday, a big boy video went out. Stat Wars the Champions Season 2, Episode 2, featuring moi, me against Smith of Palmer's FC fame. Make sure you go check it out. See who got to the next round. Did I do it? Who knows? Am I usually this excited? Yes, all the time.
I wouldn't have mentioned it if he lost.
Exactly.
So.
Have a good Tuesday night, innit? Peace out. Love, respect.